Crowd of boys, peace with the lick read. I come to talk to you boys today about semen retention and drinking and smoking, alcohol and marijuana. And whatever your vice is, you can take this information. And I recently got a comment from a subscriber asking to talk on marijuana during semen retention. And I was planning to do a video on this, but needed to do a little bit more research and go through my experiences in the past with drinking and smoking. I'm not too much of a drinker as I was in my 20s. I'm 35 now. In my 20s, I was drinking heavy. But, in college and stuff like that, and, partying in my mid-20s and stuff like that, just not reckless, but I used to drink heavy a lot, like bottles. Me and my homeboys used to go through bottles, and but I was always more of a smoker. I was always high every day. You dig what I'm saying? But there was a time where I had to put it down. Had some legal troubles in my early 20s. Got caught up in the system. Had to put it down. Did probation, so I had to be clean. But after that, I got back on, smoked every now and then, or whatever the case may be. Not too heavy, but I always knew when to put it down when that time came. And that's the thing, semen retention or not, you just gotta have self-control. And if you struggle having self-control, then the semen retention will help you gain that control. Once you gain control over one aspect of your life in certain areas, it'll help you along your way on your journey, whatever else you struggle with, whether it's food, whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking. This all correlates into one. So to start this off, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. You heard? Drinking and smoking, these substances are opening doors and portals. You dig? These are gateways into getting to your mind and your body and your spirit. You open yourself up to entities when you indulge in either alcohol or marijuana. We're going to get that out the way right now. I'm not going to sit here, and I said what I said in the beginning because I want to let boys know that I'm not perfect by any means. And I don't got a handle. Well, I didn't have a handle on things. And what I'm trying to say, have this knowledge and information on what these substances do and how they affect you. You kind of feel like you got a hold on it. You're not abusing the substance, but when you're doing something every day, after a while, you don't realize it. It becomes a habit and it has control over you. You can't function without it. You actually become a different person because you can't eat without smoking. You got to smoke before you eat. You got to smoke before you go work out. I remember I was working out, and I'll smoke before I go work out, get a good high before I go work out. But you change as a person because you can't function. You feel like you can't function without this substance. But this is a door that you open and you started to experience a different type of vibe, if you will, when you're under the influence of these substances, or specifically marijuana. But both marijuana and consuming alcohol opens doors and portals. That's why they call alcohol spirits. If you really think about it, the other name for it, like even out here where I live, they don't call it the liquor store, they call it wine spirits and beer store. You dig what I'm saying? And spirits, if you go into esoteric teachings, they use spirits or alcohol, certain alcohols, to do certain rituals. They pour libations to certain entities to give reverence to give recognition to, and to basically invite these spirits or these entities to a welcoming place, if you will. Now, I don't want to spook anybody by going over this, but this is what this is, and this is what we're initially doing, is that we're opening ourselves up to something. Some people that don't know what they're opening themselves into. That's why you see people change. You see people's true demons come out. You dig? You see somebody who's struggling with alcohol turns into an alcoholic. They just change. They're a completely different person. They switch. Certain alcohol that you drink, it could get you it makes you angry. You're easily triggered. What this does is weakening your true aura, both alcohol and marijuana. It weakens your true aura. Once when you're under the influence, your aura or your guard is let down. Your mood changes. If you're down, if you're upset, it'll be worse. It's going to get worse. By turning to something to escape, if you're using this as an escape from your problems are still going to be there when that high or that drunk goes down. So not your symptoms, but it just becomes worse because you're not attacking the real problem. What you're doing is looking for an escape, ultimately. And thinking that it's making you feel better, this substance, but it's really not. It's an illusion. There's a spirit that's entering you and it's distracting you for the time being. The thing is that if you're vibing high, if you are already a high vibrational being, if you have this practice of semen retention and you already have this self-control and your aura is strong, I've experienced this and I'll be willing to say it, that it doesn't really affect you. If you're not a heavy drinker, you're not a heavy smoker. I just drank last night making this video. It was my little nephew's birthday. I went over to my auntie house. She had some food. My first cousin, he was there. So, we had a little sip or whatever we were sipping. But, I only had like maybe 2-3 shots. But the last time I've been drinking, and the time before this I drank was New Year's Eve. And I didn't feel drunk. I didn't feel intoxicated. I was actually fine. But it's always like the day after where I could kind of feel a little different. After I get that rest, after I get some sleep, I could tell that my energy is a little bit, not depleted, but I can feel a little bit of a shift the day after. I don't experience any headaches or, mood changes. I feel completely fine, man. I came motivated today. I came to work. I came to do this video, this audio, I should say. And, I give that up to being on semen retention and having this self-discipline, and also not indulging as I did in the past with these substances and abusing them along my journey. Staying as pure as I could during my journey up until this point. The tricky thing is that if you have a addictive personality, which some of us may already have, if you're on the semen retention journey, if you've been dealing with, a problem with fapping, watching porno, you have already developed a form of a addictive personality, because this was something that us as men, we struggle with. with the sex and not knowing how to transmute this energy, just giving it out one way. So you have a addictive personality, you need to stay away from the drinking and the smoking, especially starting out fresh on this journey. When you're on your first 30 days, and I know it's tough to go cold turkey from just everything, but you can't use these substances as coping mechanisms and once again an escape to try to deter you from your semen retention journey. You don't want to numb yourself to the point, because you will become dependent on these substances. So you need to wean yourself off of these things if you are struggling. The main thing I feel like it is marijuana. A lot of people feel, and everybody gets affected differently. I feel like I'm more of a chill, laid back person. That's my personality. So when I smoke, I'm just extra chill. You know what I mean? I'm just more in solitude, if you will. But some people can experience paranoia, anxiety, become unmotivated. And that's if you don't have yourself in the right space. If you're not in the right state of mind, if you're not focused on your goals, you shouldn't be smoking. You shouldn't indulge in these things as a everyday habit. This should be done on your leisure time, when you've completed all your tasks. You've done what you needed to do for the day. The same thing goes for drinking. Don't go out to drink if you haven't done what you had to do for that day. If it's your off day, if you're working out there, if you're, doing what you do, wait till, the end of your night, man, or when you go chill, whatever the case may be. It's better to just leave it alone altogether if you really want to be in your true highest form. And there's nothing wrong with every now and then, once in a blue, but you need to make sure that you're grounded and that you're confident and enough in yourself on this journey, because it gets tricky. It gets very tricky when you open these doors. Some doors aren't meant to be open just yet when you're on your journey. Another thing is that decline in memory and your concentration while under the influence. You need to be able to be on your P's and Q's on this journey. So my suggestion would be, if you do indulge in these things until you really got to hold on things, to do them once again in your leisure time by yourself. If you're practicing semen retention, do it at a convenient time. Make sure that it's convenient for you when you're doing it. And what I mean is that you're in a good space, you're in a familiar space. And you just vibing out, man, making sure that you have nobody to disturb your peace, and give you unwanted attention, because people can sway you. You can be easily swayed on these substances. You can be tempted on these substances, and it can sway your judgment. Another thing is that smoking and drinking, once again, these two, coincide together. It decreases your testosterone. Like I said, your force field is being weakened when you indulge in this stuff. So the decrease in your testosterone, it kind of dumbs you down. You don't have that same energy, if you will, that's pumping through your body. Your blood pressure becomes high, or it gets high when you drink alcohol and stuff like that. So you need to be careful. But through semen retention, as we are holding in our energy and we are ultimately building up our testosterone, and we have this abundance of testosterone if you're on a long streak, once again, every now and then, once in a blue, if you drink, smoke, it's not going to kill your testosterone altogether. Maybe there will be a decrease, but you have an abundance of testosterone that's pumping through your body, and you have been moving with this testosterone if you're on a long streak for however long you've been doing it. I'm on my way to 180 days in like 2 days. So, um, yeah, man, just be aware that if you're starting out, your testosterone can decrease. You may see, a little change in how you feel, in your energy, especially the day after. Like I said, I can always tell a little change in my energy, but, I drink a lot of water too. I always keep water with me. That's another thing. If you're indulging, make sure you're drinking water right after, the day after. Stay hydrated. That's one. But this water, it'll flush out everything. It'll make you feel better. And yeah, man, alcohol also, it contributes to depression and makes stress harder to deal with. So once again, like I said before, if you're dealing with shit in your life, and you're trying to be on semen retention, but you are drinking, and I could say this for myself too, you're bound to relapse. You're setting yourself up for a relapse. You need to deal with your stresses, and you need to deal with what you have to deal with without substances, smoking and drinking, until you get a grasp on what you can handle sober. Then that's when you can indulge in these spirits and smoking. And when I talk about spirits and stuff like that, depression, that's a spirit. Anxiety, that's a spirit. You dig? It's not something that's just evil or the devil underneath the ground, sending his minions and his demons to come attack you. But these disorders that are out here that we don't deal with a sober mind, these are the things that come to attack us. And when we are open like this is where this stuff can either come out and manifest, or they get suppressed even deeper and deeper until they finally just blow up in your face. And that's how you lead to self-destruction. The last thing I leave with you boys is wet dreams. Like I said, this gets tricky on this journey when you get too loaded, when you open yourself up too much and you don't have no control. You become overconfident. Your emotional and behavior changes. You get reduced in emotional control and behavioral control. And that can lead to wet dreams, because now when you go to sleep, you have no control over what enters into your mind when you're sleeping. And that's how certain entities can creep their way in. You can have those sexual dreams. I've experienced sexual dreams, on nights out drinking. Thank God I didn't have none last night. You know what I mean? But I have experienced in the past wet dreams, after a night of drinking, man. And having sexual dreams also after drinking, or not necessarily too much, indulging in marijuana, but like I said, when you open these portals up, anything could creep in. Those thoughts in the back of your mind, or those thoughts that you have suppressed or even forgot about, they just start to creep in. It can cause, especially the alcohol and marijuana too. I know I keep on saying it, but brain fog. The brain fog could come back a little bit if you indulge in it too heavy, too much. So you need to be careful of that. The indulging in this type of dopamine release that you get from drinking and smoking, in the long term, man, is overall not healthy. Take a break from it. Put it down for a while, really get serious. Be sober, man. Be clean. There's nothing wrong with being clean and pure, man. I know it's fun to get high. It's cool. You know what I mean? You feel chill. You vibing out. Listen, man, I love a vibe too. You hear me? You dig? So it's nothing wrong with it. Me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with it, and I don't judge nobody who does it, because, I do it every now and then myself. But I'm also aware of having information on what it does and what type of journey I'm on and how much I can indulge in it without it affecting me. You know, your real power is in your self-control, knowing yourself and knowing what you can tolerate, how much you can take, and knowing when to stop, putting it down. The same way you can stop hitting your shit for 30 days, put the weed down for 30 days, man. It's the same. Listen, it is the same thing. It's the same thing, brothers. So my boys, I'll leave y'all with this. I hope everybody out there on a journey, man, y'all are doing the right thing. If you are smoking and drinking out there, y'all be safe, do it responsibly, take care of yourselves. Make sure y'all drinking y'all water, man. That's very important. Regardless if you're smoking or drinking, make sure you're getting your H2O, man. It's key for your body to flush out. If you have been doing it, if you haven't, if you're on a certain diet or you're not on a diet at all, you still need to be intaking this water, man. Get that flow going. So with that, is all love, my boys, and peace.